Good morning. Good morning. How we all doing? How's our Saturday going? Yes, Saturday is one of those days where we all, relax, get some of the chores going to start the week, following week. So as usual here, we're already on Connect and Reflect. You know what we do as usual? We bring you topics of interest, topics that we can relate with and connect with. And we come about reflecting on those topics. Today we'll be talking about another mind-boggling, heart-wrenching, and another menace in the society. I don't know how we got here, but we will discuss how we get here, and we'll discuss way forward. How to, we'll talk about how did we get here, way forward, and also we'll talk about the issue itself. We saw the news on the social media, some students who were seen in the video smoking and passing the cigarette to each other. They were students of some school, and that was done in the school hostel and during school year, and there was no supervision. There was no teacher, house mistress, or house master. There was no adult or grown up among them. They were seen smoking, and the issue came online, and many saw that as it shouldn't be. And a lot of questions were popping on the mind of the netizens. Like, is it the parental influence, or probably parental weakness? Or is it the system, as a Nigeria, is it our system who has also welcomed situations like this? Or could it be the school itself who had failed in their own part of the job monitoring the students? Or we're going to blame the students themselves that they are old enough. Students of high school should be old enough to know what is right and what is wrong. So, how did we get it? What is really happening in our society? Smoking, they were wrapped. They were not just cigarettes. They were wrapped. Something was wrapped in there. Who supplied them? How did they get it? Who influenced them? Who cajoled all of them together? And none of them could say what we are doing is wrong. And none of them could have reported to the house minister or house mistress of these are the things going on in the school. That means they were all part of that circle. Who brought it to the school? As a parent, I'm already scared. Like, how will I feel as a parent to find my child in such situation? Those parents that their children are in there, how would they be feeling right now? The school itself, their name is not out there because they produce best students. Our name are there because they could not raise, they could not monitor and create a good environment for children in the school. Or are we going to say the peer pressure is even bigger than parental, training? Sometimes we feel like, I've trained my child well. There's nothing that's going to happen to my child out there. Just one boy or one person who is a peer or friend who just influence and add more pressure to the boy or to the girl more than the parental training. Should this be something we need to, to be bothered about? What should have been the consequence of this action for the students? So we'll be discussing many more. Let me see if I have my other co-host here who is going to join us in this conversation. Let me bring others online to see who do we have here and how do we get to underage. That means they are less than 18. These children they're less than 18. They're just in high school. So I don't expect anybody older than 18 to be in high school. And even with that, that is not the right environment. And smoking is not the right thing for a decent person to do. We were having a conversation at work yesterday, and somebody was telling me that he's a white guy. So he told me that there's no white person who has not smoked weed before. And I was shocked to the brim, like, how did we get there that there's no white person, according to, I'm quoting the guy now, that there's no white person who has never smoked before. And I said, why? How did you guys smoke? Said, it's part of the tradition or culture before you get to college. I'm like, my child will not be part of it. whatever things you called it, that's tradition. And I started shouting. People were like, why am I taking it? Like, it's just a tradition. They'll just smoke it to see how it feels, so that they have understanding of how it feels. I'm like, my child will never be part of it. And they were all laughing at me. I should take it easy. I said, my children say, they will never smoke. They will not even taste it, in the name of Jesus. And so also I'm praying it here now. My child, my children, all my children will not smoke. Whether it's for tradition, it's for testing, it's for whatever. Anybody that will bring that things to them will not come near their dwelling. Amen. So now they're saying that, how did we get here? Are we really... They say it's a tradition, just like the way they always do. They also do the sexual part also before they go to college. I'm like, when did it become stupid tradition? That there's no white person. And all of them were testifying. I asked this one, said yes, he has smoked before. Said this one said he has smoked weed before. And they're all nurses that are not good people right now, quite all right. But for the fact that they went through it because of pressure, because of their friends, or one stupid tradition, I said my own children will never join stupid tradition. I'll continue to pray for them and bring them with the right set of people. Even if the society is crazy, but mine will stand out. So now, is it not over westernization that has brought this weeding and this smoking? If you ask some parents, like they are just trying to explore, the children will say they are just exploring. Some people who are overwoke, or wokeness is worrying them now, will say it's not just smoking. Hey, my own children. And everybody watching me, if you desire this, just pray it. Like, my own children will not be part of you guys. It's not funny, because I can imagine what some of these parents will be experiencing now, like underage drinking. How did you get here? Who is to be blamed? The parents, the school, or the children themselves? Were they expected to be searched? How did we get there? Supervision. That's another, loophole there, because these children needs to be supervised and monitored to make sure that they are in the right path. So what are we going to do to these children? What are we doing? If they are not smoking, they are into girls, they are being bullied. They just need to get something done, one stupid act, to feel that they are in that age of, transitioning to full adult, and they just want to feel everything that adults are feeling. And how did you get to substance use, smoking and drinking alcohol? They said, they later, in their defense, they said that it wasn't an alcohol, that it was just non-alcoholic drink. But you are smoking. We saw smoking now. Will you tell us that was paper? Because I know that alcohol is non. The people that smoke also drink. They drink alcohol. So you don't tell me it's non-alcoholic, just in your defense. So I'm waiting for parents here to join me in this conversation. Parents, this way. May God help us. Who is to be blamed for this? Who is to be blamed? Could it be the parents? But this, I want to believe that no parent will sit their children down and smoke and tell them to smoke. But some parents smoke too, right? Children are now betting children to these days. But if you have a child of 15 to 18 years, you should be an adult too who should know what is right. So no more, just even for. Someone was saying that children of this age, that when they usually want to explore, in the course of that, they just want to be a rebel. What you ask them not to do, those are the things they find themselves doing. So could this be part of those things that they asked them not to do that they were doing? And how could we safeguard them and monitor them closely to know that this age, we all know that this age is a rebel age. The age between 13 to 18, their rebel age, that they just want to do everything you ask them not to do. Should school publicly discipline students caught in this with alcohol, or they should just let them be? Or they should just, do not shame them so they don't continue to become rebel? Or are we following in our moral standards? The Nigerian that we know, we are when it comes to morals, we are very upright. Now, are we following a standard when it comes to when it comes to moral? The whole society is not even morally upright anymore. There's no moral like in our society, so it's degenerating to those children. Because those people that are looking at their role model are also doing the same thing. Okay. What happened to the network? I just tried to bring it up, but the network hung on me. Hi, Tayo.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello to Angela. How are you today?
I'm good. How you doing too?
So very fine, thank you.
Good to hear. So you saw the school children who were seen smoking and drinking, and they said they were preparing, they were trying to celebrate their final exam, and that was what they could do to celebrate their final exam. So as a parent, when you saw that video, what came to your mind?
As a parent, when I saw that, I was like, God, I beg you, my children are still small. How help me to train them not to be like this? Because the truth is
Oh,
that whether they like it or not, it's staring at us in the eyes. All right. I was heartbroken. I don't know. I felt for the school. Actually, I actually felt for the school. I don't know why I have a soft spot for the school. Probably because I'm in the education sector, so I felt for the school because whether they have done it wrong or right, we can't tell yet until comments started coming up and like the school has always been a good school, blah 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 blah. But in the first place, I felt for the school. At the same time, I was like, does it mean that there is no one in all the school that would have seen them in this act?
or
You know,
perceive. It's a smoke that will
or
go wide. Like
see
even if you are not there, you smell it.
will smell it. It might not be from a long distance, but if you pass somewhere around that place, you will smell it. From some distance away, you will smell it. So it was, I was like, I was devastated, let me put it that way. Because, when you see some things like that, and your own child is still growing, you want to like, what can I actually do to prevent this? All right. So
Hmm.
it's actually a very bad scenario. In all honesty, it's really a bad scenario because unlike in those days that you finish secondary school at 18, 19, some people finish secondary school at 20. These ones they are way younger. There will be 15 years and 16 years amongst them doing
Yes.
that. So it's disturbing. It's very disturbing.
Hmm.
So I in my mind I was like, how rotten. Initially, what came to mind after pitying the school is how rotten, how far gone is the school to have degraded to the point where boys, not one, not two,
Hmm.
would have thought that probably they were hiding to do it. Like they are over 10 boys smoking, drinking, they were reveling. There is no how somebody shouldn't have
Somebody
seen,
could have
smelled,
snitched.
or
Yeah.
heard the noise.
Or
You know,
another student could have just snitched on them and just exposed them.
yeah, something.
Hmm.
You know, so it's just so painful. It's disturbing. Then another thing is you begin to wonder if there are some few people amongst them that their parents are actually nonchalant, that actually brought the idea to the school. Because sometimes it is peer pressure.
Hmm.
Because I don't believe that all of them there, their parents are not present in their life. All of them cannot be that. There should be one or two persons that their parents are present in their life and they are doing their best. Fine, we understand that the world is changing, the times are changing, and a lot of parents are no longer in their children's life. Some think that they have, but they are actually not in their
Hmm.
children's life, you know. So some believe that they have when they get them the things that they need, you know. Once in a while, maybe they are home and they tell them that don't do this, don't do that. They feel that that is what it means to be present in the life of the child, but it is actually much more than that. So, but I don't want to believe that it is all of them that their parents are not present in their life. I want to believe that one or two of them, their parent is present in their life, but they couldn't still withstand peer pressure. So it's
Hmm.
actually a lot. It's actually, you know, the sight of it brought a lot of questions to mind actually.
Okay. Thank you, Tayo. I just checked your work on how are you.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing
Hello,
today?
Aja. First of all,
Hi, Lady Kaya. Good to see you today.
so good
How have
to
you
see
been?
you, to hear from you.
Yeah.
It's been great,
You're welcome.
tiring, but
So, Adeshagun, in this story, in this case of those students, who do you think is to be blamed? Is it the society, the parents, or the children themselves, or the school?
Well, I would say that the three parties are to be blamed. And you know my number one,
Spoil the rod,
my
spoil the
number
child.
one. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Right? That's my number one suspect, culprit in this matter. The parents. Charity, they say, begins at home.
Mm,
And I continue to say that. Um, the current generation, that we have, parenting has become very slack. I
mm,
always continue to emphasize that parenting has become very slack. You know, so when parenting is slack at home, right? It's also slack in school. These are the results that you expect to get. You can imagine generation that produced us, how tough that generation was. How that generation was, how the parenting at that time was really, really, against these things. These are things that we're always educated and we're always told about, even from the home. They'll tell you some things, they continue to remind you that when you're going to school, remember that thing they'll say,
That's what my two
remember
wants
the,
to.
remember the son of whom you are. These are the things that they tell, us not to do. But the point is that parenting has become very slack. And also, the teachers also, I can't blame them totally because they are actually doing their job. And
Mm,
if the teachers are actually mandated to thoroughly, okay, when a teacher finds a child, having the potential to do that, what is the responsibility of the teacher? He cannot touch the rod. He can only report that particular student. And then the society now has escalated the matter because everywhere you go, every channel you want to watch on TV, on social media, all the media actually continues to promote these substances and this particular lifestyle. If you are not even doing it, you are not even up to date. You don't have swag if you are not doing it. You are not a real man if you are not doing it. So that's the reality of the day. So all the parties are to be apportioned blame: the society, the parents, the teachers, unfortunately. Even the church will take part of the blame too. The religious part of the country, they'll probably take part of the blame too. So at the end of the day, there's a saying that says that it takes a village to raise a child, right? Everybody has different responsibilities. There are responsibilities that that actually is allotted to the parents. Some are allotted to the teachers. Some are because the parents cannot be everywhere. So I think everybody is a culprit in this.
Thank you, Adeshegun. Bratunde, you're welcome. Are you there?
Hello too.
How's your week going?
Auntie, where, color Shanua.
It is well. So talking about parenting now, because Super is blaming the parent, and I also hear Adeshek also said parent, and I remember Tahir also saying that not all the time that the parents were not present in their life, and some were present, and some they were really trained. Just that the pressure from the peers is choked out the training they got from home. So are we going to say the peer pressure is stronger than parental upbringing in homes when it comes to drinking and smoking?
Can you repeat that question?
So talking about we talked about the role of parents in child upbringing. And let's be sincere, most parents would train their child. No parent will see the child and say smoke. They train them well, just that the peer pressure pushed out their own training and came into their life. So are we going to say that the peer pressure is stronger in our society than the parental training?
Okay, that's a very good question. Are we going to say that peer pressure is stronger than the parental training? It's a good question. The way I would respond is it's not stronger than the parental training in the real sense, but it could be. So the point I'm making is what would determine whether it's stronger or not? It's actually the home front, in that everything works hand in hand, because the peer pressure that we're talking about, they're coming from one home as well, right? And I think Mr. Ajashegu mentioned how the training had dropped in the sense that now I know Mr. Ajashegu loves this. They spare the rod and spoil the child.
Yeah.
It's the order of the day now, right? But the point that I'm making is peer pressure can be as high as it can be, right? But the foundation of the home is strong enough to withstand that peer pressure. That's my own. That is if there is a foundation. So I won't say that peer pressure is either stronger than the home training or is lesser than the home training. They both affect the children. It's more about, when the Bible says when the enemy come like a flood, the Lord will raise a standard against them. The problem we have is not that one is stronger than the other. The problem is there's no standard that is being raised against the peer pressure in the homes, which goes back to what Mr. Ajashegu said. Of course, you cannot separate the children from the external world, right? Children would, of course, the prayer of every parent would be that for my son to be a good son by my teaching, right? But also to pray against bad friend, right? But unfortunately, the bad friend will be with you. It's rare. You cannot control who your friends, your children make friends with, but you can at least control what you do with your child, so that by the time your child start mingling with these children, when they introduce something to them, your child will know that, oh no, we don't do this. You understand what I'm saying? So that's going to be my response to the question about whether peer pressure is stronger. It's always going to be stronger. It's always going to be strong, because of the fact that by the time your kid start going out, like to school, right? Children will leave the house as early as 8 a.m., right? What time did they get back home? 4. That's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. That is 8 hours, right? Outside the house. The next 16 hours is spent in the house. But guess what? They will sleep 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 hours in the house and they sleep. Even from 4, say, they will still come home, eat, and go out to play with friends. At least when we were growing up, we play outside with friends. It may not be the case anymore. The point that I'm emphasizing is kids spend more time outside the house than they do in the house nowadays, right? And you cannot control them. You can't say don't go out. It's not. Well, they did it for us. We still went out. Italawa, we always go out. So that is what makes that outside pressure to be more pronounced. Let me use that word, more pronounced. But if the home front is great, at least you're setting your kid up for success in rejecting the canna that they will give him, in rejecting the alcohol that they give him. So the way I see it is not that peer pressure increase. That's not the problem. The problem is the foundation is broken in the home front. That's my own opinion on that.
Thank you. So, Tayo, I know being as a school teacher and also school psychologist, so I'm going to ask this question now. So, when students are caught in this act like this, should they be punished publicly to serve as deterrent to others, or we shouldn't do that so that shame will not, will not help them? We want to shame them by exposing them on the assembly. Me, growing up, I've done so many things that the fear of assembly ground will not let me continue. The fear that if I'm being caught, I'm going to be exposed on the assembly ground, and all these people will look at me like bad child. So it would not let me continue, because I remember being caught, running out of school at ungodly hour, and the teacher was almost catching us. I'm like, me on the assembly ground. So now being a school owner, school administrator, do you think disciplining them publicly will serve as deterrent to others, or is just going to expose them and shame the kids?
Well, I think that when situations like this happen, you should punish them publicly. Why will you punish them publicly? Is one, it will hinder them from wanting to do it some other time, because it is embarrassing. Even to them, it is embarrassing. That is one. Two, it will serve as a deterrent to others from wanting to try such. Because as they have done it, if their junior caught them doing in that kind of a thing, what you see sometimes, it shows you that it gives you the notion that this thing is possible. Okay? Or if you hear that they did so thing in so school, whatever you see or hear, sometimes give you the notion that this thing is possible. All right. So if the way they are being caught, if they are being punished publicly on the assembly and then suspended, that's if they are still in school. But if they are no longer in school, publicly punish them. It will not, to a lot of them, it might not change everybody, because the truth is that some children, the kind of affordudi, the kind of, I don't know how to say it in English, that they have.
Rebellious.
The spirit of rebel in them will still want to do more. But a lot of them, especially those ones that have small home training, they will not want to do that again. Those ones that come from good homes, at least, they will not want to do it again, because they will not want to put themselves and their family to shame. And me, I would suggest, by the time you are putting them on the assembly to shame them, let their parents be there. When I was in secondary school, some of our seniors, they formed this group. In fact, the school did not know that they formed groups, but they caught some of them, I think about 5 of them at Ibadan. My principal, I think, went to Ibadan for a function. My principal then went to Ibadan for a function, and on our way back, because in our secondary school there is a way we work, and she's the one that taught us. So if you see any Olasijebuode girl, maybe not all of them, but almost everybody, there is a certain way they work, they catwalk. So when he saw these ladies, of course they were not looking like secondary school ladies anymore. She said that she was thinking in her mind that I can't forget what she said since that year till now, that she felt that these people, the way they walk, she was just saying that that these girls in front of me, they walk like my secondary school girls. You understand? So she was just driving. So on driving close to them, she was able to recognize one. The moment she called the name of that one, the rest of them fled. So it was that one she looked for. And that one pinpointed everybody. They were beaten. In fact, she went straight to school. That was when we realized that they had groups: 7 Up, 5 Alive, 3 Lucky Sisters. They have different groups like that. We did not know. It was then that we knew, because she had to investigate it and get to the bottom of it. Then she told them to go and call all their parents at Ataonto party, talk or join group. All of them, they called their parents and they gave their parents, after they've punished them, after they've sent them to go and call their parents, they now gave their parents cane on the assembly to be beating them. Some parents were crying and flogging their children. You know, that scenario, the rest of us that saw it, the rest of us, when we saw it, we could not even think of ever doing anything like that. Ever. Why? Because we don't want to be that person. I'm sure some people must have heard about those things, that they might have been craving to be like that. But after that day, that tendency died a natural death. So I think that there's some punishment that when a child does, punish that child on the assembly, so that it will serve as a deterrent to others. I'm not saying that it will completely eradicate rebellion, but it will bring it to its barest minimum. And by the time a child wants to be rebellious, and also this rebellion, it didn't start from school. It does not always start from school. There is something the parents who are not paying attention to. They might not exhibit it at home, but there will always be tendencies. All right? And sometimes we see it, but we live in self-denial. Plenty of time, my child can never be like this, my child can never be like that. I remember when the parent was telling, I was young then, was telling me that, you people, so I think they were now, she was talking to us and all of those things. And what she was talking to us about, our child is the ringleader. All right, what she was chastising us over, our child is doing worse. We were just looking at her. You know, in our own time, you can't talk back to an elderly person, but we know what she did not. We knew what she did not know. All right, so a lot of the time, and I think that she knows, because I keep asking myself that time, that how will this woman not know? It is now that I'm grown that I realize that I think she's living in self-denial. She knows, but she's living in self-denial, like that a child can never be like that. All right. So some parents, they see the handwritings on the wall, but they still believe that their child cannot do some certain things. I have a relative that the mother never knew that the boy has been having sex with girls. 16, 17 years old son has been having sex with girls. She you know, when people talk, are like, that boy say, I know, mommy, virgin you, until a girl gave birth to a child for her son. Initially, she was hiding it, but later she couldn't hide it. You know, so some
but
parents
hold on.
actually,
Punishing kids then, all those things will call punishments, or you know, were they not abuse or humiliation? They humiliated us, and even today, some of us, they have the, you know, that psychological effect on us in how we react to things because we were humiliated.
why were you humiliated?
Because the Musa lost. Stop.
Say it. Why were you humiliated? All right, let me give you a classical scenario because me to have had a fair share of humiliation. There was a time. There is this part. My landlady's daughter. She lives upstairs of the house. She has show glass. She sells erodidi alata. She sells fried meat, peppered fried meat. You know, that's what she sells. She'll put it in the show glass. But this particular day, I think after frying and doing everything, she had an emergency and she left. So she left the peppered meat in the show glass upstairs in her close to our apartment. Then we now went to go and play in that upstairs. That did not do us. We now broke our glass and help her to finish the meat. Do you understand? Now, when we were caught, even before the landlord's daughter came back, it was another elderly person that called us and called the attention of another elderly person, and they ransacked all of us, took us downstairs. They didn't take us inside, they took us outside, removed our clothes outside, and flogged us. I can never forget. They flogged us, we were sweating under the sun. After they finished flogging us, they were now asking us, why did we flog you? We ate. They said, no, you did not eat meat. You stole meat. Say you stole meat. It was humiliating, but that singular act never made someone like me do stuff like that again. And a lot of us never did anything like that again. Do we still play in the compound? Yes. Yes. So
humiliation is not a punishment now, right?
Why were you humiliated?
I doubt your self-esteem. If your self-esteem is still 100% full after that day. But anyways, let me move on to the next topic.
Okay, now we ate somebody's meat. They were telling us that what did we do? Our self-esteem could not tell us, could not allow us to say that we ate meat. We stole it. Because that is stealing. We said that we ate meat. They were telling us, no, you stole it. Say you stole it. Because it is actually stealing. And if it was not caught at that time, I can bet you we might likely do something worse. Because we assume that it is normal. For example, a child break a plate in the kitchen. You now pamper the child. You didn't tell the child that this is wrong. Like,
mistake happens now. We all know that mistake happens. Even that stealing of meat.
Wait.
We lock it. You shall lock our meat in our room. Will you go there to go and
I told you that we broke the glass. Did you hear that part?
But it was an accident, right?
It was not an accident. One part of the breaking was an accident. Somebody ran and hit the glass truly, and it just cracked. Then we removed the cracked part by ourselves. Then we started eating meat. Then after removing the cracked part, we ran away. We came back, and the meat was started calling us.
You were exploring. You were exploring. It's part of training.
Yes. So while we were exploring, we were being beaten back, but that there are some things you don't explore. So that is what those kind of punishment do. They tell you that while you are trying to explore, which is very good to explore, but there are some things you don't explore. So next time you are going to explore, your sense will tell you that this one, you should not explore it. You, by yourself, you will learn that this exploration is actually not right.
Thank you, Tayo. So, Adeshegun, I know you are the moral police here.
Really?
Are we going to say that the school is falling off their moral standards? Like we are not teaching morals in schools anymore? Or their schools are doing their part? It's just that the society is just too permissive for anything. Anything can go.
Definitely, the school is not really playing. They are not really playing their part, as far as I'm concerned. I think the school has become too weak, especially in terms of discipline. I hear you talk about humiliating them. Humiliation was not the punishment; it was expulsion. It wasn't to humiliate; it was to remove you out of the stack so that you don't corrupt the others. It was expulsion where I schooled. If you were caught doing drugs, if you were caught even doing alcohol while I was in secondary school, it was expulsion. So it wasn't just humiliation, it was them wanting you out of the system so you don't tend to become, a bad example to other people. So I've always said it. I think the current educational system is weak. Of course, we always, have different opinions where um, other people will say that, times have changed and we need to apply the new methods of don't flog the child. The one Ronke normally recommends, go and face the wall for 20 minutes. That's what we've come to. And that's why we keep producing this kind of children where indiscipline is the order of the day. In fact, now, right, I think the amount of if you look at the age bracket of people who actually do drugs more, right, I think it's the the teenagers. It's the teenagers that do more of, those hard substances and alcohol. And the question is, how are they able to even get that done? And their parents do not really notice when it started, and their teachers do not know. That's for you to understand how slack parenting and even, teaching has become. Because at the end of the day, once your parent notice, back in those days, once your parents begin to notice a slight change in your routine, or your teachers even notice a slight drop in your grades, right? They raise alarm. They force you to come to PTA meetings and all that. These days, it's not really about the grades that they get to talk about. The parents get to talk about. I think they get to talk about the exorbitant amount that they have to pay for dresses in graduation parties. They really don't look. Just take WAEC for example. Just take WAEC. Even take JAMB for example. See how bad the scores have gone. So I still stand on that point that I feel like parenting has become weak, and even teaching, has become really very weak also. Yeah.
But
Well,
is
for
any
the teaching part, for the role of the school,
yeah.
in those days, when you're, permit me to be, I'm sorry, putting in those days when you do something, the teacher punishes you, all right? Your parent, you will not even go home and report to your parent that your teacher beat you. You would dare not. But in recent times, we've seen parents come to school to beat up school staff, teachers for beating their children for doing something wrong. Some and I've seen people that will come to school and say that whatever my child does, don't beat my child. Some people will come to school and tell me that, hope you don't beat in this school. They ask me, oh, how come you don't beat in this school? And I do tell them, my teachers don't beat, but I beat. If your child has done something wrong, I will beat the child, then I will call you to let you know that this and this is what your child did. And you have to beat your child strokes of
Oh,
pain.
your background, there's a noise in your background.
Not my background. I
Is
could hear
it
it, so I
whose
thought
background? There's noise from, is that Ajashego?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry. I couldn't hear you because it was raining here. Could you come again?
Oh, okay, you want to mute yourself. There was a noise from your background.
Oh, sorry. That was the rain.
Yeah.
so. Like I was saying, so I will tell you, I beat your child for so offense, probably in the hand or at the butt. I will tell you for doing so and so thing. I will tell you. All right. So it is completely not the fault of the school. I've worked in a place where I was told that we are to teach morals. We are not to enforce it. Okay? That we are to teach morals and we are not to enforce it. So what do you do in that case? You are just going to keep teaching the morals. And sometimes it is important to enforce it. Because all these children, they are trained differently. There are some children that, like I do tell people, there are some children, if you tell them that you don't do this thing, if you do this thing, you are not going to go out, they will comply. If you tell some children that if you touch, if you don't do your homework, you are going to stand in a naughty corner, they will comply, they will do their homework. There are some children you will tell them if you don't do your homework, you will not eat your snacks, you will stay inside the class, you will stay on the naughty corner. They will dare you. They will not do the homework. They want to see what you can do. Does it mean that I support consistent beating? No. But there are situations that truly, when you spare the rod, you will spoil the child. I'm not saying that for every of your, because sometimes too, because we need to create the balance. Sometimes as parents or teachers, you beat out of your frustration. All right? You beat out of your frustration. So sometimes when my children do some things, I analyze it mentally. No matter how angry I am, I would have shouted and I was like, Tayo, this is your situation talking. It is not what this child did that is actually this much that is making you to shout this much. So I like, okay, this thing you did, that is when you now see my tone coming down. This thing you did is actually not right. You are not supposed to do this. Can you do it better like this? You know, but there are some situations that they do some things that like, go and kneel down, raise up your hand and close your eyes. Sometimes I'll tell them, go and apologize for something. So it is also important that even as parents, we analyze what our children does and we should punish them accordingly. And if that thing requires beating, beat the child. Don't spare the rod. Beat the child.
Oh, so Tayo, before you go, somebody is asking here, are you guys saying that beating kids produce better behaved kids?
There are a lot of better behaved kids that were beaten right. Even the Bible said that madness is locked in the heart of a child. That is the rod of what? Let me say it in Yoruba. That Yoruba one, it drives home the message very well. Àyà ọmọdé ni wèrè dì sí, ẹgbà ló fi máa lé jáde. The truth is that this our new style of parenting, like don't be the child, you just talk to the child, it doesn't work for everybody. In fact, it doesn't really work at all. It doesn't really work that much. You have to put strict measures. If you do so thing, these are the consequences. I used to tell people sometimes ago that these things are in levels. When your child is between 0 and 3, they don't understand anything. They don't understand instruction. They just want to do. They just want to spill the water. They just want to. Your hand, just put 3 like this, or find broom. Tell them to bring their hand or their butt. You beat them and let the child know why you are beating the child. Don't just beating like they used to beat us in those days. Don't just beat. Let that child know why you are beating the child. After you 3, 4, you did this. You give that child 3, 4. I beat you because I told you not to spill the water and you did. Don't do that next time. From age 4 to 8, are you listening? From age 4 to 8, you have your cane, and it is actions and consequences. When you come back from school, remove your plates from your lunchbox and put them in the sink. Sit down and do your homework. When you are done doing your homework, take a shower, watch TV for 1 hour. If you miss in any of those things, it's 2 strokes of cane. Ensure you give it. Because if you promise and you fail, they will not take you serious. And if a child also do something right, reward them. Even if it is ordinary sticker or sweet or biscuit for doing your work this week, I bought you this biscuit. They will know that there are consequences for actions. Because by the time we are patting them on the head, we make them assume that life is like that. Because it is the way you treat them that they take life. They will now grow up and realize that life is not fair. That when you do something, there are actually consequences for actions. It will not come to them as a rude shock. A lot of these children that we caught on camera smoking and all of those things, with the way it is going viral and this disciplining measures being taken upon them, some of them will be in shock that why all of these things? Because from the way they are being taken care of from when they are small, they have assumed that there is almost no consequence. Now they are facing the reality of consequence. It will look to them like a shock. Now, if they now punish them, they will not say that they fall into depression. They never fell into depression. You move them into that level of assuming that life comes easy. Life doesn't. We know that. We as an adult, we know that now.
Thank you. Oh, before I go to the Child Rights Act that Super was talking about, so let's go on. Sunday, are you there?
Monjo.
So the rise in the underage drinking and smoking, is it the reflection of bad parenting or a broken system?
Yeah, so I'll answer that. But before I answer that, I kind of want to provide a different response to what Auntie Tayo and Mr. regarding
Okay.
the role of school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although in what Auntie Tayo was talking, she mentioned some things that I'm going to elaborate on, right? Which is morals, teaching it and enforcing it, right? And then she said something that now makes it like that kind of like proves the point that it is not the responsibility of the school, which is what I want to bring forward now. Number one, it is not the responsibility of the school to enforce morals. It is not. If the school does that, the reason why I'm saying it is not is because there's really nothing in this day and age that protects the school when they enforce moral. There's nothing. It's not part of the school's curriculum, right? Because if you send your child to school now and they beat your child, again, you were talking about Child's Right Act, right? Nothing to protect the school against that. But the school can infuse moral in teaching, right? Kind of like talking about it, giving some of the opportunities to let them know about, oh, how to be a good kid and all of that. But the reason why it is not is because the best the child can, the best the school can do, which Mr. Jashegun highlighted, Antitayo highlighted, is whether punishing or expulsion. But it doesn't do anything. The children that you expelled, right, they'll find another school. That's how it is. Or even if they leave the expulsion, they or maybe suspension, if they finish their suspension and they come back, it is not that will make the children change, or it is not that will prevent that. It is actually on the home front. It is a responsibility of the parents to enforce moral. Now, how they enforce the moral is not the subject now, which I'll still go to. But let's not say that the school should enforce moral. No, it's not that. It's not. They can't do that because they would run into problem. And thank God for Antitayo's parents, children's parents, that they understand when Antitayo tells them that I beat your child. To me, not every parent would accept that. Again, that's the life and age that we live right now. But the problem is a child that is bad from the home, no matter how much beating the school does, no matter how much expulsion or suspension the school gives, it will not change. Because OTD, Lara, you understand? It would now even lead to resentment of whoever the teacher. When we're in secondary school, a boy literally beat up a teacher. So this thing that we experience is not now. It's a problem from the home front, which is the microcosm of the society. If you cannot teach the child from the house, nobody from outside can teach that child. It's not possible. That's number one. The other thing that Antitayo said, which I love about the role of the school and all of that, was she said when we were growing up, for your teacher to beat you and you go and report at home. Why? That is because of the fact that the parents already understand that it takes a village to raise a child. You understand? So they are now saying, you know what? If you do anything bad and they correct you, I agree with it. That was why it worked in that time. But now, if they beat you in school and you're afraid of reporting to your parent, and your parent is lifting your shirt somehow, and that's it's even the parent that will now say, oh, I want to sue the school. So that's on that note. The school is not supposed to be responsible for that. Now, to the question that you asked, Olutu, or do you want to refresh my memory? Because I got it.
We were talking about underage drinking. That is a reflection of bad parenting, or it's just, it just came, or a broken system.
If you look at these children that are in underage drinking, these are the categories of children that you see that are doing underage drinking. Number one, children where it is permissible in their homes. A child that wakes up to see his father drinking and smoking is already well on his way to start drinking and smoking. Because children look at they want to mimic their parents right from the young, like from infancy. Of course, I have a son. My son would want to do things the way I do it. It always starts from trying to impress daddy to trying to be like daddy. You understand? So most of the teachings that we pass down to our children, they are not even things that we say. That's one area that people probably don't get it. It's more about how we act, right? There's a song that talks about, oh, I want to marry a man that would love me the way my dad loves my wife. That's how it is. You understand? If you're a father that you're not caring to your wife and all of that, the children will pick it up. That's a digression. But the point that I'm making is a child that grew up in a home where the father, without care, drinks, and it's whether social or continuous drinking, that had already created in the mind of the child that, oh yeah, drinking is good because my dad is doing it. Those are the kids that will now start the underage drinking that we're talking about now. Now that's one category. The second category are the kids of parents, even though they do not drink, but they don't have a good relationship with their children. And good relationship it starts from communicating. Your child is not too young to have conversations with you, no matter how young the child is. From as soon as the child can talk, you should be able to converse, whether as friend to friend. The point that I'm making is when you're a friend with your child, it now becomes a case of, if my dad does not do it, I won't do it. You understand what I'm saying? Again, you know what I said earlier, that it's all about wanting to impress daddy to wanting to be like daddy. You see, all those kids that do not have that foundation of having the conversation with them. And I love what Auntie Tayo said earlier about punishment, which I forgot when I was talking about, is sometimes punishment is not the answer. The problem that most parents have is you only punish without letting the kid know why they were being punished. You understand? And I don't have to beat that again, because Auntie Tayo did a good job of explaining that, in letting them know that, oh, why do you think what you did is good, or why do you think what you did is bad? It's like asking leading questions, not just telling them what you did is bad. When you ask them leading questions, they'll be able to tell you by themselves that, oh, this was what I did. Okay, how do you think you could have done it better? See, those are the things, little things that kind of like help the children. Now, going back to what I said, in that if you have a girl child, right, and if she needs something, right, you're providing it for that girl child as a father. That girl child will not go out and be enticed by material things from outside world. If you have a boy child, and your life is you're reflecting a core value of whether the conversation around drinking comes up, and you can have the conversation with the child as well, as soon as they get to some certain age, right? Why is it that daddy doesn't drink? Why do you think drinking is bad? You understand what I'm saying? I think we've talked about something here in the past about how the devil give a semblance of truth to people, right? I use the analogy of the devil, Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, right? God told them, if you eat of this fruit, you die. Devil said, did you die? Did you die though? You didn't die. So that's how it is, right? If you don't have that preliminary conversation with your kids, right? If they go out and they're exposed to it, that's it. And the other thing is, even if you don't have that preliminary conversation with your kid, but if you build that relationship of communicating with your kid. If your kid go out and meet friends that are drinking, and your kid know that I can tell my dad anything, I can tell my mom anything, they will be the one to bring it home and say, oh, I saw my friends, they are doing this. You understand what I'm saying, Olotu? I saw my friend, they are doing this. Oh, my friend, oh, someone said, oh, she's going to her boyfriend's house. My friend is, oh, I'm not cool for not drinking and all of that. They will bring the one that will expose it to you. And then now you have the opportunity to now tell them, right? Just as the Bible says, teach your child the way to go, so that when you grow up, you will not depart from it, right? So to me, it's, see, society will be corrupt. We can, even what we are seeing now, trust me, society has been corrupt before now. It is only heightened now because of social media and all of that, right? There's something that I always jokingly say to my dad. There was a picture of him when he was young, or, you know, when they wear that boot cut and all of that, and they had drinks on the table. You know, I'm like, yeah, so all these things. So they've been doing it since then. You understand? But what separates some people is that family front. Again, you cannot remove, you cannot outsource the work of the family to the society. That is where the problem comes. If you outsource it to the society will give them their version of that teaching. Whether it's in having sex, it's not a taboo to speak to your children about sex, because if you don't, the society will tell them how to do it. So that's my own opinion about it. It's not a reflection of a society breaking down. Society has broken down long before now. It's a reflection of the home front not doing what they should do in the midst of that society.
It is well. Talking about communicating or having a conversation with your children. The time I was watching a video, I didn't know it was loud. So they were talking about a lady who was kissing another lady. My son just said, mommy, that does not make sense. How can a lady be kissing a lady? A boy should not kiss a boy. A girl should not kiss a girl. A grown boy should not kiss a small girl. A grown woman should not kiss. I'm like, so you know all of this? I said, let me jump on it. I said, I use that to do a little teaching on it again. So talking about bad parenting and the broken system, from what you've said now, I know that you're trying to say, okay, parents should do better so that the society will not have influence. But society is larger than parents sometimes. They go to the wider world. They are feeling that they are the only person who is not doing it. Like I said before, when I started this conversation, we were talking in my office yesterday, and some of my friends who were white said it's part of that tradition for you to smoke weed. Like there's no white person who has not smoked weed before. That it's a tradition before you go to college. I'm like, hey? And I was asking all of them, they said yes, they had an experience of it. Though they don't continue, but they had that experience. I'm like, why will you have such experience? Imagine my child among probably is the only one who I told weed is bad. And all of them are saying, I had an experience. 6, 7, or 10 are saying they had an experience. He will be like, or the only person among them, and maybe he's going to feel somewhat and say, let me even try so that I won't be the odd person out here. How can we manage a situation like that in a peer pressure? Though you're saying let's standard, it's easier said, but when in the real sense, you feel intimidated that you're the only person who is not doing what others are doing. And in that same lane, I'm going to go to Ajashegu. Do you think there should be strict law or punishment to apply to students who are drinking or smoking? Or we should focus on rehabilitating them? Is it that we should create a law, or we take them for rehabilitation or counseling?
Well, to be honest, I don't know the solution. I don't know if rehabilitation is the solution, or I don't know. I don't know if it works, because I've seen some who have been rehabilitated who go back to the street. But if it works, I think it can be given a shot. But I would like to reiterate that I agree with what Rosenda said. I think the primary role of upbringing lies on the parents. It lies on the parents. I think yes, it lies on the parents. And I'll give you an example. I know I was raised by a single father, and he never really did much of talking, but he just set traps, waited for me to do, to err, and then he will go to war. He wasn't flogging, he would be ready to go to war with me. You understand? And I know some of the people that I went to secondary school with who could chest 100 strokes of the cane. They would chest 50. Those ones cannot, eventually they turned out well. And I put it to you that the reason why they turned out well was because their parents and the teachers did not take it easy on them. They knew these ones, if they were not properly monitored, they would eventually terrorize the society in the future. Most of them turned out well because the parent themselves acknowledged that, look, this one requires high-handedness for him to be able to, turn out well. So before the teacher can actually, Lady Tara said something about, parents coming to the school to complain if the teachers flog the children. Back in the days, the teachers did not even need permission. The parents would even probably be the one to come to complain about their how their child is being wayward and what's the school doing about it. You dare not go back and tell them at home that you committed a crime in school and they punished you, because they would even go further to punish you. So I concur with Brotone that the major job actually lies on the parents. It starts from the home. It's a secondary job for the teacher. The teacher's job is to educate them, teach them in terms of, teaching them moral values and, how to go by, maybe going to church and other things. The primary role, is the responsibility of the parents. So, but to be honest, I don't know what the solution is. I think that if rehabilitation could really work, more than half of the young chaps would need to be rehabilitated, because everybody's doing it. That's the new cool in town. So I really don't know what the solution is.
Okay, but today between rehabilitation or street punishment, which one do you think is permissible here? Which one do you think will work here?
So there's something that, and it works for every issue. Name it. There are boundaries at every milestones, right? Boundaries you don't cross. The thing about boundary is, once you cross it, you've crossed it. To go back, it takes help. The second thing is, if you take a survey of people that have been charged to prison, statistically, percentage of them that became worse after their first prison trip is a lot. Meaning that nobody goes to prison and become better because of what they are exposed to in the prison. You understand what I'm saying? So it's rare for someone to commit a crime and not have a repeat crime. That's the point that I'm making. That's why when the police are taking someone, the first thing they will first think about is their crime history. That's why the punishment for someone for their first crime is always lesser than the previous crime. The point that I'm making is punishment does not work. It does not, because they've already crossed that boundary. In their mind, what the punishment is doing for them is that they don't know how I'm feeling. You understand? Because everybody will have an excuse, right? Oh, this is where I'm drinking. This is where I'm smoking because of the problem that I have in my life, and I need to take it away. So when you now punish them, they don't see it as, oh, I'm responsible for this. They see it as the society has rejected me. You understand? I have a problem. I found an escape, and then the society is punishing me for finding a way of solving my own problem, a problem that I thought that the society should have solved for me. You get the point that I'm making? In their mind, society created the problem. I'm finding a way to solve it by myself. The society is now the one again punishing me for doing what society should have done for me. That's what it results to. It now results to resentment of the society. They don't even care about me. What do you think would happen? They go back to it. So the next iteration of problem, and then they'll be like, oh, they punish me for this. Then it's affected my, like some people will say, emotional, it has created emotional stress.
Trauma. It's a trauma.
Trauma. What else do I do? Let me go back to it, because whenever I smoke and I drink, I forget my trauma. But rehabilitation would work. The reason why rehabilitation does not work, we need to check the kind of rehabilitation that we've been doing for these people. Because if you're doing rehabilitation and you're putting them in a space where they are still able to mingle with the problem that they found themselves, it's going to continue that way. Also, when you're doing rehabilitating, you can't rehabilitate someone that is just starting. With someone that is already given, it won't work. You understand what I'm saying? So I believe it is in the way that rehabilitation is being done, not necessarily that punishment would work over rehabilitation. I don't think punishment has ever helped anybody. That is why you see things that person like Pastor Tony Rapu is doing. You understand? Those are the people that are actually doing rehabilitation, and they've gotten success stories. There's a boy that he picked up from there, and the boy the next time I saw the boy was not recognizable. Speaking good English, went to school, graduated. That is success story. The only thing we need to do is now replicate that. How many people in our society are doing what Pastor Tony Rapu is doing? The reason why they are not doing it is because we've seen them as destitute, and we don't think that there's anything is going to come out of their life, which is wrong. You understand what I'm saying? But the ultimate thing that would help is not to cross that boundary at all. Whatever the society can do to prevent them from crossing that boundary. So I think the society is not doing enough in regards to that. The reason why I believe the society is not doing enough is because there needs to be balance to it, right? Because we don't want to make our society restrictive in the sense that we want to control everything. You understand? But we need to understand that some of the things that we promote have negative effect on the society as well. You understand what I'm saying? We're promoting promiscuity, we're promoting drinking, we're promoting smoking. All our musicians, they will sing it in their song. All our actors, this is the theme of what they do. Even our brand ambassadors. You've never seen anybody there's a man that does mathematics on Facebook in Yoruba. See, if you see me glued to my phone and I'm watching it, there are some concepts in mathematics that I do not know.
I thought I was only one glued to that guy. Oh my goodness. That guy, handwriting is beautiful. The way he speaks was so awesome.
Very wonderful. I love his slangs. There are some things in indices where it was when I would see to it like I'm watching something that I need to write the exam for new. You understand what I'm saying? That man, if that man is talking about like gay, how do you would have seen sponsors now. You understand? But that man has not seen some sponsors. The best you do is, if you want to support us, so drop his account number. You will never see institutional brand agencies to say, we love what you're doing, we want to support, because it doesn't create the hype for them. Everything is about hype in our society now. Everything that drives volume. That's why, and I'm sorry for saying this, so that's why Ida Bassi can decide, you know what, I want to do Guinness World Record on a weekday, and 20,000 people were there during the day. You understand? If anybody says he wants to do hackathon in Nigeria, he won't see anybody. That is wow. That is way society has contributed. And you see people fighting for rice that is not.
That's,
You understand?
that they said they were not done.
We have the kind of Ike Yoruba that is teaching Yoruba. We have Ijinle, Arojinle. Arojinle that is teaching Yoruba. We have what's this other one? Don't many people that are doing
There's a lot of them. There's a lot of them.
And all of that. They will never see sponsor because people do not listen to that.
And that was why Mandy Kiss too made it to newspaper. I imagine newspaper.
That is
Mandy
that,
Kiss.
see.
I was so mad at newspaper. Newspaper finding Mandy Kiss as
what is the regulatory body that regulates newsprint in Nigeria?
I don't understand it anymore. It wasn't like that. Our journalism was not like that before.
And the way they will say is, oh, it's just vibe, right? Oh, we're just doing vibe. But what they do not know is that vibe is damaging the society. Because the
Many kids will enter news. Seriously?
The way bad thing does, the way bad thing work, right? It doesn't just start from 0 to 100. It's like going inch by inch. Oh, can we do this? What did people do? Oh, they accepted it. Oh, good. It becomes the new norm. Then they move in an inch forward, an inch forward. That's why 4 years ago, there was nothing like hookup.
Go to the public hookup. Maniki's talking about public hookup, and people will pick newspaper are picking it. It became news.
That is
seriously.
Sure.
Anyway, so talking about setting boundaries, let me say this example. My son, there's so many things he does in school because he knows that at school they don't push boundaries. You know, all these Oyibo schools, they don't push boundaries. So the teacher, he did something in school. The teacher wrote a long note to me. I said, seriously? And I went to the school. I said, don't you have disciplinary action for anybody that does this and this? You should be able to punish him. You don't need to tell me. And ever since then, we talked to him at home too. He didn't do that again, and he was good. And the teacher had a good report about him. So the question I want to ask is, like, should parents give teachers autonomy to punish their child, or school should be asking parents, are we allowed to punish your child or not? So that there should be like an indemnity form or something to feel that give us this right to do this. So should teachers be given right to punish their kids in school? Should it be something we need to converse? Like if another parent says, don't touch my child, I am saying, help me beat my child, help me correct my child. So should that be another, is Tayo there?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. So should teachers have that right to set students or punish students, given the autonomy by their parents individually? So you don't generalize beating to all the children if their parent doesn't want you to beat their child. I don't generalize not beating the children if some parents still want you to help them correct their own child. Should that be an invasion to their privacy or to their rights? Talking about Child Rights Act and Parent Act in the school. Does my question make sense?
I'm trying to comprehend it.
So now,
all right.
Should parents give, like now, I told my son's teacher, whatever disciplinary measure you give kids that misbehave in school,
I had that part of
give you that right to give it to my child. If some parents are saying, don't be my child, don't touch my child, I'll beat him at home by myself. Me, I'm saying, I'm giving you the right to, if he's pushing boundaries with you, correct him, push him back too. So some parents will say, leave him, I'll take care of it at home by myself. So should parents be given the child teacher's rights individually, or should parents or teachers too write to parents, do you want us to beat your child for you? And parents will say yes, or parents will say no, instead of generalizing in school.
Well, I think that there are some parents that do say that my child is not above punishment. I've had a lot of parents say that they will like, my child is not above punishment. If my child does something bad, kindly punish him, And there are some parents that will come and say that, don't beat my child. For example, if they tell me, I will tell them, that's the truth, that if your child does something very wrong, and I will actually, most of the time I try to be diplomatic about it. I'll tell them that, of course, I believe that your child is well behaved, and we hope that he or she maintains that attitude. But in a case where your child does something very bad, the teacher will not beat him, but I will beat your child. And I will call to let you know what your child did and how I punished the child. I'll tell the parent. So a lot of the times the parent agrees with me. So I go ahead and tell teachers, please, this particular child, don't punish. If it is beyond staying in your class, don't go downstairs. Don't give hard punishment. All right. If the child does anything, you let me know. So I'll decide what punishment the child deserves. Well, I think it's actually a good one that parents should actually have that conversation with the school if they want their child punished. And it is also important that they let you know, because sometimes we are human beings. That's the truth. I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are against beating. You beat out of your emotions. Okay? Even as parents, sometimes you've taught a particular child, don't do this, don't touch a girl, don't take what is not yours, don't speak badly to people, greet your elders. You've always been saying it, and your child, they reported or you caught your child taking someone's things. You might likely discipline that child out of your emotions. Same way you as a parent can do that, same way the teacher too can do that. For example, in my school, if I'm going through not so good emotions, I don't beat any child, no matter what the child does. I don't, because I am trying to avoid beating someone's child out of anger. Because first of all, that child is not mine. Then I have to, even though I want to punish the child, I want to punish the child in such a way that it reflects what the child does. I don't want to beat the child in anger. So if I am probably sad or hungry, I won't beat you. I'll just tell you to kneel down. Then probably call your parents and tell them what you did and tell you to go back to your class. So I'll appeal to your parents to please punish you when you get home, to discipline you when you get home, and to also ensure that they talk to you. Of course, I will talk to you that what you have done is not wrong, it's not good, and why did you do what you did, and all of those things. But I'll try as much as possible not to beat you in a bad emotion. And I think it is not everyone that understands this, okay, because we are not all the same. And the truth is that we are not all perfect. So the fact that we are not all the same is why some people does not want their child beaten. So you don't beat them in anger, in hatred, all right? And some children can be so rebellious and stubborn that somehow, subconsciously, you are not liking the child anymore. You might, out of your frustration of what that child does, beat the child. But I think it will be okay if parents can say that, okay, if my child does so and so thing, can you punish the child for me? Then also let me know so that I'll be able to follow up at home. All right. For example, a child did something recently in my school and I had to call the father. I didn't want to call the mother because I've always been calling them to report. Even personally, I felt bad for the parents. I felt bad because I know that these parents are trying to do their best to ensure that this child is, morally upright. But the child keeps behaving in some certain ways, okay? So I was like, I can't but not tell your parents. So I called the parents, I told them what the child did, and I told them that I'm going to punish your child for doing this. And the father said something, please punish her. I'm not home, but please punish her. When I come back from traveling, we are still going to sit down. She's still going to explain to me why she did what she did. All right. The mother came to school. Those are parents that are intentional about their children. The truth is that this child, no matter how rebellious she is, a part of her will tell her that she has parents that loves her and they want the best for her. Parents that are actually present in her life. And before you know it, she will begin to change. All right, she will begin to change because the mother came. Apparently, the father called the mother. Then I had to apologize to her that I'm sorry I didn't call you because I feel that it will be overwhelming for you. That's why I had to call your husband instead. She said she can understand that she doesn't know what she will do, but she will keep doing her best from home. And right there in my presence, she was asking the girl, "Why did you do what you did?" You know, she was able to tackle this. Said, okay, if you don't stop in the presence of your HM, when we get home, you are going to let me know why you did what you did. Okay, so it is important that even at the home front, we get feedback for what our children do so that we can also follow up from home. If you are actually present, if you look at it, children that their parents are present in their life, it's not as if at the point in their life they are not rebellious. They don't stay that way for long. Why? Because there are parents in their life that are interested in their life. They keep coming up, showing up for them, telling them that this is actually not the right thing to do. Because sometimes you will do your best and a child will still just want to be rebellious, especially teenagers. When they are teenage years, they assume that they know everything and they are right. The thing is that they know some certain things, but they don't know the consequence of the things that they know. Or should I say, they don't know the gravity of the consequence of some of the things that they know. So it is while they are trying it, how did you feel? You are able to talk to them, sit them down and talk to them, have a teeth-a-teeth, explain things to them. Sometimes drive your point home with stories. When we were growing up, we hear lots of stories that when you want to do some certain things, these stories will pop up and you will abstain from those things. Okay, I can remember when my mom saying that somebody went to go and abort pregnancy and the person died in the process. That thing stuck to me for a long time. Okay, so sometimes your stories drive a lot of things home. And the thing is that if your child has done something wrong, as much as you want to punish this child, it is important you know the motive behind the doing. Punish in love. Punish them in love. Tell them, redirect them. Sometimes it is even better you correct them than tell them the consequence of their actions before you even punish them. Then after you must have explained those things in love, but for what you did, for actions, there are consequences. So for what you did, I haven't corrected you and say all of those things, I am going to punish you for doing it. They are able to understand that, okay, I am being punished for this certain thing, and it doesn't look as if you are being wicked. And that is what I was trying to tell most of my teachers. Love them enough to want to be interested in their life so that when some things happen, you can practically explain to them that these are the things that you've done and they are wrong. So for these reasons, you'll be punished. You are not going to go downstairs. They will understand better. Okay, so that is actually my own take in all of this. Thank you, Olotu.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. Another thing which I would like to add, though we're done with today's topic, but I think another thing we should keep doing for these kids is get them engaged. When they are engaged in so many activities, they don't tend to remember, all those indecent behavior, smoking, or, having time with the peers. Engage them with activities after school so that by then they don't have time to smoke or drink or run after women or do so many things.
Let me tell you, children will always have that time to misbehave. That time. It might not be up to 10 minutes. That's small time.
Because I remember during my time, we are always in church, so we don't have time to even see what friends are doing anywhere. That church, you don't do well, prayer master will address it. You get what I mean? Like, there's always a grown-up that is trying to monitor your life. If you engage them in swimming, in a swimming class,
that is then, not now. In fact, in that swimming court, they might have one corner they meet and do some stuff. So that is where, I'm sorry to say, but that is where religion comes in. If, for example, if you train them in your religion, you are present in their life, you engage them, you can easily use the religion you've taught them to also correct them on some certain things. Somehow, see, it is like we want to explore, and we sometimes we don't know the difference, especially as growing children. They don't know the difference, especially if you have not discussed it with them. And even if you have, curiosity kills a cat.
I know.
So they are curious to know what is actually this. I have a friend that the mother used to tell that when a man touches you, you'll be pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in secondary school, some of our, I think when we were in SS1, SS2 thereabout, I can't forget, I saw some girls under the tree, so they are my classmates, so I went to go and join them under the tree. And they were talking about sex, that they've had it. So this particular lady too was there. And when she said that, but my mommy said that when a boy touches you, you'll be pregnant. They started laughing at her.
Exactly.
They started laughing at her. And that is where act information is bad. A lot of our parents could not actually talk to us about sex education. I tell my children sex education. I won't lie to you. I tell them, my baby, as small as my baby is, the other day he was asking me, Mommy, why don't you have a penis? Everybody has penis. Why don't you have a
I'm going
penis?
to call you. I'm being no.
And I was telling him that I am a girl. All of you are boys. Boys have penis. Girls have vagina. And he went on and asked me, can I see your vagina? I said, no, I'm your mommy. All right. I teach them sex education from their young age. They are not scared to ask me some certain questions. I will answer them. Even if sometimes I feel that the question is stupid, sincerely. Sometimes I just want to show that what kind of a stupid question is it. On second thought, when I realize that this person is just being curious, it is only me that will calm myself and start telling them. And the ones I don't know, I'll tell them, I don't know this, but I'll try and make research and let you know about it. They are free to ask me questions. So that is why it is important. We don't give these children half information. I was listening to a pastor. She said something profound. She said that growing up, she was teaching her children that they should not have sex with men, that when you have sex with men, you'll be pregnant. That at a particular age, then she realized that that information is half. Then she told the child that if peradventure you'll be having sex, which I am not permitting you, and the scriptures is not permitting you to do. These are ways to prevent unwanted sex, unwanted pregnancy. Because if you are pregnant, you will deliver the child. You understand? So people were criticizing her that why will you tell her that? You are trying to tell her to go and misbehave. But I said, no, I'm not telling her to misbehave. That even the Bible said that today, this day, I have placed before you life and death, good and bad. Choose one. Choose one. So now it is now God that is now advising us, choose life that you might live. He didn't say you must choose life. He said that choose life. It's an advice so that you will live. So as a parent, you give them the options. Don't do this thing, but if peradventure you will be doing it, use protection. If you don't use protection, a person gets pregnant for you. My child hasn't gotten to that level. When they get to that level, I'm going to tell them, whoa, you are not aborting pregnancy for any person's child. You will go and work and make money and take care of your own children.
Tayo, let me tell you this story. I have a patient in my hospital now that he's into a mental hospital because a friend drugged him against his wish. They overdosed him. He has a mental health issue now. Imagine walking, drinking. I don't drink alcohol. But they're like, okay, no problem. They respected it at that moment, and they just put something in his drink, and he didn't know. He just drank innocently. So that's why our people who walk to it too. We should be careful. Like, oh, I'm the only person who is saint among them. We should be careful. I know I have strong will. I can hold myself. One needs to be careful. But we go to that.
You know that when my children ask me that why are people evil, I'll tell them that this life is not scripted. That you are good does not mean that other people will be good.
Hmm.
I tell them that. Say that you are good does not mean that other people will be good. As a matter of fact, that you are good does not mean your cousins will be good. My son was asking, why would you say that my cousin is not good, but he's my brother? I said, yes, but I'm not the one that gave birth to them.
Even your
I
brother too,
told
your immediate brother may not be good. We just pray they turn out good. Like
we just pray they turn out good. So I told them that I told you the things that you should not get involved with, yes or yes. I said yes. So if your cousin, if you go and visit your cousin and your cousin is doing that, don't join him. No matter how much you love and respect your cousin, don't
have
join
a
them.
mind of your own. Yeah.
Yes, because most of my mother's grandchildren, they are boys. We have only one girl. So
Sorry.
the rest of them are boys. All right. So I keep telling them, and I also tell them that your cousin, the girl among them, you treat her with respect.
Hmm.
But if there are things that she does that you're not comfortable with, you walk away.
Well, respectfully
Of
too.
which they don't even have time to actually be in the same space. That's some of their cousins, they don't have time to be together in the same space. But I actually tell them this thing in advance.
Hmm.
All right? Because I don't know what they know. Though their parents are my siblings and I know how we were raised, but I don't know what the children knows. So
Hmm.
to my best of knowledge, I try as much as I can to talk to the ones that I know. And yes, if I
Hmm.
meet with these children, I talk to them too. But these ones that are with me, we tend to talk. Though we fight most of the time, but we tend to talk plenty of the time. They ask me questions. The other thing my child was telling me that you came home, you are looking sad. What is the problem? I said, I'm
No.
not feeling good. I just want to be by myself. Can you allow me be by myself? You know? So I tell them this life is not scripted. And sometimes we even think that we are good, but some people consider us bad. And
Hmm.
we don't hate them for considering us bad. We just have to keep living the good part of us.
Yeah. Okay, because
So
of our
sometimes
time,
you
so
just have to talk to them too.
yeah, there you. Brotunde, any last submission before we call it a day?
Me ò láfikún, mi ò.
We should continue to pray for our kids that they don't mingle with bad peers, right? Because
Prayer is important, cannot be
I
overemphasized.
know.
Prayer is important.
Very important. We just continue to pray. Anyways, I think that's all that we'll do. We have for today. We've spent like quite a number of time here. Thank you so much for your time, everyone, for joining. Please, next time, let's come early so we can get done early. Because in my first 15 minutes, I was here by myself. So, thank you so much for joining, everyone that joined today. See you again next week.
Ó dàbọ̀.
Or double.